I'm Tamara Overby. I'm going over my 24-hour recall. I did on my son, who's a very big into health, and his goal is actually to gain weight, not lose weight, so it was a little bit different doing it on him. After doing his 24-hour foods, when I did the nutrient dense, I had thought that his nutrient dense food, the good one would have been the chicken because of the protein that it has in it and the amount of protein that it provides for him, which he tries to get a little bit more of in his diet according to him. And the food on his diet that I thought was not the nutrient dense would have been French fries that he had eaten at In-N-Out the first night that we started, that he remembered he ate. I estimated after looking at all his food that he was somewhere around 3,000 calories. He eats typically kind of healthy, but not everything is super healthy. So, because he's trying to gain, but in a good way. So the first night that he went out, he had gone to In-N-Out, which didn't offer a very good amount of any, I don't think, any nutrients or anything too great, except for it provided like a lot of protein, a little bit more of carbs that he was trying to get in his diet, but not necessarily healthy carbs, and sodium was really high, so that provided quite a bit of sodium for him in his diet. He did get calcium and iron, some of the micronutrients in it. When I did an overall of everything, because I won't go through every single one of those, his daily goal for his protein was supposed to be 172, and he passed that at 187.3 for his intake, so that was good. His calorie goal, I found out, was supposed to be, according to the MyFitnessPal app, is supposed to be 3,430, so that's a lot. He didn't make it quite that. He was at 2,161, which was surprising to me because he had gone out and stuff. His fat intake was supposed to be, according to MyFitness app, 114, and he got to 54 grams. So he didn't quite meet that goal either. The fiber intake was, the goal is 38, and he got to 46. So not too bad either way, because it'll keep his digestive system going. His carb intake is supposed to be 429, and he was only at 200.8. So I think he's needing to increase his good carbs in his diet, along with trying to gain weight. And his sodium was supposed to stay around 2,300 milligrams, which is the average. He did go past that at 2,361. And his sugar, according to MyFitnessPal, was supposed to be 129, and he was grams, and he's at 95 grams. So he stayed a little lower on that. The potassium was supposed to be 3,500 milligrams, which seemed like so much, but he only got to 1,490 with the potassium, which he drinks a lot of protein shakes and like all those nutrients. He works for GNC, so I was kind of surprised there too. Calcium, he is supposed to be 100% on the calcium, and he was 119%. So his bones will be healthy. And his iron was supposed to be 100%. He only got 28% with that. Now for his vitamins, he basically got vitamin C. He's only needing to be at 100%. He got to like 318 totaled up with everything that he had for the vitamins. So he's probably not going to gain, according to MyFitness app, for this day. But he still had some left over and went over on some of them on my chart. So, was I surprised by my overall results? Yes, I was very surprised. I've been honestly quite concerned with his diet just because he, works for GNC and he's always drinking all these different shakes and trying these different supplements, and it's kind of scary because you don't know, like, is he going to get too much of something or too little of something. And so I was kind of happy to do this on him because I've been on his case quite a bit about making sure that he doesn't overdo it on certain things and underdo it on others. And so yeah, I was very surprised, especially with him not getting enough iron or potassium in his diet. That was very concerning. Were the foods more or less nutrient dense than you thought? So yeah, I thought it would have contained, because of the protein shakes, the protein bars, all these things, that are supposed to be so healthy. I thought they would have potassium and iron in it. Some days he does add like a banana or something into his diet, so I know he gets it here and there. Just this day he didn't. He did eat pretty good, but he maybe overdid the vitamin C and underdid his potassium. And then the iron concerns me because I really thought that he probably would have been getting a little bit more iron with his supplements and stuff that he has, but he didn't. Now, did he meet the daily goal totals? No. As I said before, he came up short on a few things that I went over, but he has room to work, and at least now he knows, because he kind of was wondering why he wasn't gaining. He works out a lot, and so he did. He went under on his calories. He was, wanting the 3,430. He got to 2,161, and that was with, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, and I mean, the kid does not stop eating, so I was surprised there. I thought he would have. What I think about his sugar, fat, and sodium intake, the sugar and the fat doesn't so much concern me. He doesn't take a lot. He's very big on telling me he doesn't need all the useless calories in his diet. But his sodium intake kind of, worried me, because obviously I'm always telling him, telling my mom, telling everybody in my family just to stop pouring salt on their food. And he's usually not one to eat a lot of bad foods, but even those good foods, I guess, contain a lot of sodium, way more than what I thought when we looked at. I mean, his diet, he's egg whites, turkey, bacon for breakfast with his Ezekiel toast and juice, and then to have he eats at Waba Grill a lot. He'll get broccoli and grilled chicken with no sauce on it, and then his dinner was just a lasagna that I made at home and salad and stuff. So I really didn't think his sodium level was going to be super, super high. I try to buy the healthier types of foods, but that's okay. He has stuff to work on. Now, the micronutrients that he's lacking, that I saw, was the iron and his vitamin A. There wasn't hardly any vitamin A in any of the foods that, I don't even know if it was only maybe a couple of things, like a 15%, for his in and out trip, and little bits, but not very much of anything, and definitely not enough to keep up on his needs. So, my recommendations to my son Jacob, I said, is what I read about on the American Stroke Association, is to lower his salt intake, and to really watch his labels, because it's going to increase his risk as he gets older, for a heart attack or stroke, to have high blood pressure, which he's still healthy right now. I don't even know if he's at like a 10% on his BMI, but he is really healthy, and sometimes that salt just sneaks in there. So I advised him to really read the labels and to try to stay under the 2 grams or 2,300 now milligrams of sodium. that they spoke about on the American Stroke Association. So on the American Heart Association, I looked up information because my advice to him was to increase his potassium to help to flush out some of his salt intake in order to have a little bit better of a balance, since he is probably going to be right at that 2,300 on his salt. And instead of worrying about going over so much, he needs to bring that potassium up so he can get it out of there. And the last thing I advised him, because he is trying to gain weight, and if you want to gain it healthy, is to, instead of so much of the pre-workouts and things that he takes, to increase his carbs so that he can refuel his energy with healthier carbs, along with his fruit, but just more healthier carbs, his brown rice, his 8 ounces of vegetables instead of only getting maybe 4 ounces, to help, because I read in the American Journal of Nutrition that by him getting the energy from a carb source along with his protein, it'll be a lot better, plus it's going to provide a little bit more of the iron and other things he needs with those foods. So that is pretty much it for me on my 24-hour recall. So I'm glad I did this because, now I could tell him I was right about him not getting everything he needs. Okay, thank you. Bye.